Hey everyone, Keith Carson here for the look at our nor'easter that's moving in this afternoon and into this evening. Initially, it just looks pretty light, but if we widen out the picture, you'll see what's going on here. This is a setup that actually would be really nice to see in the winter. Well, nice depending on if you like snow or not, but it's just a really classic what we call Miller type B setup. We've got this inland low with a lot of energy right out towards Toronto here, and then a coastal low that's developing. So as the energy transfers from the inland low to the coastal one, you'll see the moisture kind of go in that direction. And there's something you can see on radar right here, which is a hallmark of this type of setup, where that coastal low is developing so rapidly that we've got thunderstorms in there. So it's deepening rapidly, it's getting stronger, and it will be moving off to the north and east towards us the rest of this afternoon and into this evening. That being said, this is a really good setup for a good amount of rain and some wind as well, but it's going to take a while to move that precipitation from southwest to northeast. And so even though it's down into York County at this point, it's going to take the rest of the afternoon and into the evening really to get that rain shield farther north. So you watch that progressing later today and into this evening. And here we are at 11 o'clock, and still about half of the state is dry, especially north of about Bangor, temperatures in the 40s. The rest of us are in the low 40s. There's periods of really heavy downpours. The winds are starting to increase as well, and we'll talk more about the winds in a second, but just kind of a nasty late evening into early tomorrow morning as that rain continues. This is Friday at 2 in the morning, so coming down hard while most of us are sleeping here. And then it weakens a bit on Friday. That's because the low itself becomes stacked. You can see the lows right down here. But it's still pretty windy, it's still raw, and there's periods of heavy rain. And the mountains are likely to see some elevation snow, probably around 2,500 to 3,000 feet and above is where that snow line will be, where they can accumulate snow. But you could see some flakes even at some of the lower terrain there into the foothills and the mountains. So Friday, there's periods of rain off and on. It's just kind of a nasty day. And again, that snow and the elevation starts filling in a little bit better. There's less total rain afternoon tomorrow, but it's still not that pleasant. Winds turn northwest, so that usually dries us out, some periods of showers. But again, I don't think we're going to see anything in the way of sunshine. We do have a wind advisory in effect. The National Weather Service had stopped this at Rockland yesterday, but now it has extended it for the entire coastline. And I do think this is largely a coastal wind event. It doesn't look like we have the kind of setup for the wind velocity to continue inland, so it's just along the coastline. And I think it's right on the border line here as far as the wind advisory. Could see gusts up to 40, maybe 45 miles an hour. That would cause some power outages, but not many. We do have leaves on the trees, so that's always a factor. My sense is this isn't going to be a big wind event for us, though, just the way that it's cranked up here, just enough to take note of it and have some scattered power outages. That's really what the wind advisory is for. If they were expecting higher winds, you'd see a wind warning, a high wind warning. So it's kind of the lower of the two. As far as total rainfall here, it will be pouring at times overnight tonight, but most of us will end up around an inch, maybe an inch and a half of rain. So not as much as we had a couple of weekends ago, but I think this one's probably more dramatic because it will be rain and wind at the same time in a shorter period of time. So that rain will be mostly done by midday on Friday, and just a few showers after that Friday afternoon and showers into Saturday as well. As far as snowfall goes, and there's so many things wrong with the idea that I have to show you the snowfall map in late May, but I do think that the elevations will pick up a couple of inches of snow. I'm not sure if it'll be 4 in Rangeley, but you can see just roughly what the contour of that's going to look like. By the way, this bullseye is kind of falsely picking up on Mount Washington, so obviously they're going to get a lot of snow up there. That's not something that's going to come across most people's desk, though. And that snow will be heaviest on Friday morning through about the middle of the day as that low wraps out and drags in some of that colder air along the way. Okay, so that's that nor'easter that comes through. We are going to be dealing with that storm system again on Saturday. It won't be as strong, but it doesn't really move that far. It's still kind of parked over down East Maine. And so Saturday is marginally better than Friday, but not by a lot. I think it's cloudy, it's showery, and there's still likely some elevation snow going on through the day on Saturday. Eventually, though, we move that low out of here and we start improving incrementally. So I think Sunday is not a perfect day, but there'll be some periods of sunshine and some isolated showers. Best chance of a shower will be in the mountains and into western parts of New Hampshire. The coast has a chance to stay dry all day, but there are shower chances. That low moves farther away for Memorial Day, and that's our best day of this stretch here. Temperatures probably in the mid and upper 60s. And we put it in there as dry. There is an outside chance of an afternoon shower. You can see that popped up here on the European model, but I think most of us will be dry on Monday, and that will be the best day of the long weekend. And then Tuesday and Wednesday actually look pretty good too. So a nice reset button on a pattern that has just been absolute garbage, right, for several weeks at this point. So cool and showery on Saturday. I'm not even sure we should have that tiny sliver of sun in there. I think it's probably pretty cloudy on Saturday. And then some sun coming in on Sunday with some isolated showers in the afternoon. And then again, I think most of us are dry on Memorial Day itself. Temperatures anywhere from the mid 60s to low 70s, depending on your location. Our pattern takes a break. I'm not convinced that we're totally bucking this pattern, though, into next week. I think we got a couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but looking at the mid-range signals, there is a chance we go back to some rain for late next week, so I'd enjoy the sun while it's there.